have to sew. I've got people downstairs that have
Okay.
paid a lot of money to. Yeah. Okay. So your question was.
Where does Dave shine as a cook? What's his area?
Well, pretty much everything he's put his hand to actually has really been quite good. He makes magnificent soups. I mean, I can tell it's when I can tell if it's a soup that Dave has made. He he worked our what we call our garde-manger, our hotline, doing a lot of very fine platings on the evening dinner menu. The section of the line where a lot of the art and beauty and arrangement of the plate is really important. The appetizers and the desserts, where the way that we cook here, there's a lot of beautiful herbs and flowers and lettuces and gorgeous, interesting, unusual, sort of amazing vegetables and things that are used. And he was exceptionally beautiful. Like what perfect pitch is to a musician, he has that ability with his eye-hand coordination, with his arrangements of his plates. And all his food tastes really good. He's also done a lot of baking, sort of the lunch prep, and the guy does not drop a ball as regards food. You can just consistently know you can count on it. It's good.
Now, we know from a lot of the interviews that we've done with Dave, he's got a little bit of a dark side.
Yep.
Does that show up in his cooking, or?
No, but restaurant people, a lot of us have dark sides. It's some of the most.
I don't know if that's exclusive to artists or restaurant people.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe the truth is that we all have dark sides, but restauranting brings it out. I mean, restauranting can be, it's sort of a wild business. It can be enormously creatively gratifying, as I explained to you earlier, but it also can be, it can really be kind of one of those no good deed goes unpunished kind of situations. And restaurants can be like that. They can take a lot and be very frustrating. And so Dave's dark side, I think, just like mine, just like the way that the restaurant also brings that up in folks, that's a component, but of Dave. But excuse me, it's interesting. There's this thing. I guess there's something I deeply, deeply respect about Dave. The guy matters. I mean, this dude is he's just a really fine human being. And so he and I will do this thing where we'll lock horns, like we'll get into that dark side thing. And, just the world will just all of a sudden seem very menacing. And one time he accused me of using, substituting Crisco for butter, and it was this really confusing thing, and he was just furious at me. And I remember it was a uniquely dark side kind of conflict. And, we sort of crashed and burned on it at the time, and, he hadn't really stopped and thought through what was going on. And he sort of disappeared for a while, but our paths crossed again, and I suppose technically I should have just hauled off and, punched him one for his mean, he didn't give me the benefit of the doubt on something, but instead all I could do is just look at him and say, man, I just want to hug you, I love that guy, and so then, we were just immediately right back on track.
Part of what I sense about Dave is, you said a lot of wonderful things about him, and I would agree with a lot of them, but I don't think he believes those things about himself necessarily.
Well, that's again probably one of those dark side things as artists and creators. We are out on the edge, and we don't necessarily get a lot of safe, and constant reinforcement. And as you said earlier, I don't think that artists or restaurant people are, have some exclusive membership in, handling the dark side of things. But Dave is, he's, kind of off the grid. He's a very interesting guy who's functioning, holding down jobs, being exemplary. He's a very desirable restaurant employee. Anyone in their right mind would snap him up because he's very conscientious, very responsible. A lot of artists kind of use their art as an excuse for showing up late or having a drug problem or just, having some bullshit. And David just has this maturity. I mean, he shows up, he's solid, you can count on him, and yet he has this incredibly fragile hold on this amazing and magnificent gift of his voice and his music and his performance art. And I can imagine that he feels incredibly insecure. I would too if I was that gifted.
How have you seen this gift or these gifts of his evolve over the time you've known? You've known him a while.
I just want to follow his career. You know, he gives me his. He lets me buy them occasionally. His CDs. I plan to see Dave. He's got a whole lot more yet. He's going to be revealing. That's really clear to me.
Okay, do a time check, or you?
I really need to wrap up,
Okay.
guys.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that you haven't said about Dave that you'd like to say about Dave?
I think we've really had a good. This has been good. Covered it. I hope you can show him this unedited tape. Would be.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
It'd be very nice. I think. I mean, what I said about his, just sort of the enormity of his gift and the fragility of that. He should hear those affirmations.
Yeah, he
He's
seems
really-
to have some self-awareness about both those things,
Yeah.
the enormity and the fragility both.
Yeah. Is part of your story on him going to include some of his performance?
Actually, quite a bit, yeah. We
Good.
got him in the park.